Hello and welcome to another episode of Erongo Talk. I'm your host, Irene van der Walt, and I am joining you from Long Beach today. In today's episode, we will be chatting with Inspector Ileni Shapumba about the latest in crime in the region. And if you keep your eyes peeled, not just on Inspector Shapumba, but on the top of your screen, you will find a question that you can answer to win a lekker prize. Compliments of Fagwerk Beer Garden in Swakopmund. And in our first story for today, the COVID-19 pandemic has undoubtedly had far-reaching economic and socio-economic effects. And in the light of this, local surf enthusiasts Oliver Peters and Iris Hesco revived the NamPol Sustainable Waves project. Peter started NSW along with the Salty Jackal Surf School in 2017. He says, I read in South African surf magazines about projects that were teaching youth from disadvantaged backgrounds to surf, and I wanted to do the same. Although the NSW was found with much zeal, it went dormant for 2 years before the tragic effects of the COVID-19 pandemic compelled Peters and Hesco to revive the initiative. I remained in touch with the kids, and during the pandemic, one of them told me about their situation, with parents losing their jobs, the mother moving away for work, and I decided to take it up again, says Peters. However, the surf school is more about sand, sea and sun, as it aligns with the ethos of the Salty Jackal, which is surfing, sustainable living and extraordinary food. This isn't just about surfing, this is also about education and mentorship, and we also teach the kids about gardening and cooking, says Peters. He foresees exceptional growth for the NSW. We started with 5 kids, and every time we take them out, we find that they have told their friends and more of them want to join. In our second story for today, there's more hope for the youth. In a bid to enhance the work the Mondesa Youth Opportunities Trust, or MYO, carries out, FNB, through the First Rand Foundation, sponsored $100,000 Namibian to further the education of underprivileged learners in the Swakopmund district. FNB understands that the success of our nation and the future of all Namibians depends on good education and sound moral and social development, says Rivonia Kaivere, the First Rand Namibia CSI manager. Vera Leach, the MYO managing director, said that they are grateful for the donation as it has a twofold impact. It helps us to pay our teachers' salaries, and secondly, it supports the cost of a nutritious meal for our underprivileged students. MYO is serious about education, and we aim at giving our students a sound educational foundation in the academic, moral and social aspects of their lives. And in our third story for today, we are going to go over to Afrikaans. So, sedert November 2020 word in die mond van die Kunedi rivier 'n buitengewone aantal rekordgroot kabeljoue gevang. Ervare Namibiese rots- en strandhengelaars wil nou die reuse van die Kunedi navors en meer oor die visse uitvind. Dit is 'n onbeskryflike gevoel, sê die bekende rots- en strandhengelaar, meneer Leon Krautse. Hy het reëls as dit kom by hengel. Die visse moet in alle tye versigtig hanteer word en hulle moet nadat hulle gevang is binne 2 minute weer in die water wees en alleen kan wegswem. Tot nou toe het ons nog geen vis verloor nie. Almal swem op hul eie weg en dit is vir ons van uiterste belang. Geen vis mag gehou of doodgemaak word nie. Volgens hom is in die laaste maande sowat 35 kabeljoue gevang wat oor die 170 centimeter lank is en oor die 50 kg geweg het. Die gewig word aan die hand van tabelle bepaal en geen vis word geweeg nie. Te veel tyd gaan verlore as jy hom weeg en ons is bang dat die vis nie sal oorleef nie. Krautse wil die visse navors en navorsers betrokke maak. Ons stel belang om meer oor die visse uit te vind, spesifiek oor hoe oud hulle is. Volgens hom word die ouderdom beraam op 10 jaar per 10 kg. Dit beteken die reuse is almal ouer as 50 jaar. Die reis deur die Skedelkuspark tot by die mond van die Kunene is slegs moontlik met Skeleton Coast Adventure Tours wat die konsessie besit. En op daai noot eindig ons vandag se nuus.
Police. How are you today, Inspector?
Now we thank God.
Yes, no, definitely. Now, Inspector, we find ourselves in a new year. It's March already, but can you just give us like a brief overview of what has been happening pertaining to crime here in the Erongo region?
Yes, I can say we have the situation under control as usual. We are working together, collectively.
Yes.
With all stakeholders, the systems and processes responsible to crime. I should indicate at the beginning to say we as the police are very happy. All the cases, major cases or high profile cases that were reported last year, 2020.
Yes.
We have the suspects or persons arrested and appearing before court.
Nice.
And we believe the legal process will take its course.
Yes.
To be specific, we are talking about the case of the lady who was killed and then the body was found in the shallow grave. We have a man who was going around raping women.
Yes.
With guns.
Yes.
We have an accused person who killed the person on the road between Swakopmund and Walshby.
Yes.
And many other cases,
Yes.
major ones.
Yes.
So we have taken it very serious to say, in as much as we cannot really undo what has happened, we believe the justice shall be served.
Yes, sir.
In that regard.
Yes.
And that will give the victims as well as the family members peace of mind.
Yes.
We are concerned, before I speak about crime, with
Yes.
incidents of suicides
Yes.
and domestic violence in our region. Of course, we said there are problems perhaps that are going or affecting people, and people do not know the ways to seek solutions to those problems. But we encourage them to do so. As we speak, we have up to 9 cases of suicides that were reported from the 1st of January to the end of February this year.
Yes.
Last year we only had 3 cases of suicide during the same period under review. And in all these cases, the persons that are involved or that hanged themselves or that committed suicides are male. And as usually, you can speak about problems at home.
Yes.
Family rejections.
Yes.
And these are traditional issues also sometimes that happens. I can give a typical example of if a man get married to a woman without notifying or being given approval by their close family members at home, they tend to reject and say, but you have done your things on your own. You must be on your own. And these are some of the things that are pushing people to do this. But we are saying, if at all there is a problem, there are people that are trained
Yes.
to provide us with necessary services that we need. Social service, the hospitals are there, Minister of Health and Social Services are in charge of social issues.
Yes.
So it says social services. We have
Yes.
Minister of Genders, Equality.
Yes.
If you are to talk about kids and gender-related issues, and we have the police officers, we have pastors, we have everybody.
Community leaders, everyone,
leaders,
yes.
elders,
Yes.
and families that
Yes.
we can speak to and try to solve our problems. We really are advocating for that.
Yes. Now, Inspector, do you think it's because of the pandemic and all of its effects that the numbers have also climbed when it comes to suicide rates?
Of course, in terms of policing and crime,
Yes.
criminology, so to say.
Yes.
We have things that are called, strain theories, social disorganization theories. When you study those theories, you can understand that at a certain point, some of these things have an impact on how the people behave and how the people take issues that are affecting them.
Yes.
If you have your minds that are arrested by situations and you are unable to navigate through, to get through that process of mind arrest, at a certain point, things like that might happen. That's what scholars are saying, and that is based on the academic, or so to say, academic
Yes.
grounds or understanding.
Yes. Now, Inspector, just before we spoke about this, you mentioned about armed robberies and people that are specifically now targeting foreigners. Can you please just briefly tell us about that?
Yes, briefly, so to say, from the 1st of January this year until now, we have 4 cases that were reported of attacks, particularly on foreigners and people withdrawing large amount of monies from our banking institutions.
Yes.
We have had a meeting with our bank managers. Unfortunately, or regrettably, the bank where most of these incidents are taking place are reported to have taken place, or where people are reported to have withdrawn money and then later on being targeted, was not represented, and we are concerned about crime. Obviously, we are going to contact them to see how best we can also engage one another and harmonize that relationship to prevent crime.
Definitely.
What happens is that when a person goes to the bank to withdraw money, there are also some individuals that are co-working to go and study the information of people withdrawing large amount of money from the bank and give this information to one another.
Yes.
What we said is our security personnel at the banks, in as much as they are now qualified hand sanitizing officers, we really suggest and say let them focus on the security of the clients as well as the bank resources. In as much as we understand the prevention of COVID is also attacking us, why can't we, and we agree to say that maybe we should come up with a self-service sanitizer.
Yes.
Where a client will go and sanitize the hands, there's somebody monitoring and then continue the queue. But the security should focus pertinently on issues of security inside the bank.
Yes.
Issues such as customers entering the banks with the caps on, and this is already difficult because people are wearing the masks. It's very difficult to identify these individuals. Issues such as customers inside the bank and they're using cell phones, in the banks, and then they are communicating, giving information to people outside. And these are not only men.
Yes.
You'll be surprised because even robberies that take place in Kisatmund, there are women that are being recruited to confuse a man. You walk with your phone, speaking on the phone, a woman will first pass and confuse you. Later on, they will probably give information to the partners, in crime, then they come and rob you. And this is what happened. When you see a person sitting in the bank for too long, try to develop keen interest and say, what are you doing here?
Yes.
A person come in is giving us, chances to other people to continue, just checking. The other thing is also, when we withdraw a large amount of money from 30,000 above, you can read from the machine when it's counting that sound.
Yes.
And you said, perhaps what we should do is, if the sound can be muted, So those are things that we are looking at, and we are saying, for us to be addressing crime nowadays, contemporary policing, the systems and processes should be such that they are responsive to crime.
Yes.
We have also had a meeting with our security managers, particularly in Oxford, to say when we recruit people and we deploy them, especially to sensitive areas such as the banks, we should do background checks, not just a person who was robbing women, their wigs yesterday at Shop 4 area, today the person is the bank. That particular individual will still be, in collaboration with his fellow. When did the person repent? So there are a few things that we have really discussed, and we do not want to expose most of our tactics that we have discussed with our colleagues from the banks, from the security companies, because we do not know who is listening. But we hope and trust we are going to assist the clients to protect their resources. But as well, the client should take into considerations to say your safety should start with yourself.
Yes.
You withdraw a large amount of money, you are footing, you are carrying your money, you are exposing yourself to danger. There are facilities at the banking institutions that we can make use of,
Yes.
such as internet bankings,
Yes.
But we know these are foreigners, sometimes it's very difficult to trust these processes. And then we speak about old people,
Yes.
So we are saying, if there are people that can be able to assist these people to make use of the facilities that are there, let us please assist them so that we can protect the resources. It's good sometimes to have a lot of cash in hands, but it's a risk.
Exactly, it's a risk. It's a
Situation.
huge risk that you're taking.
Indeed.
Now, Inspector, scams have also been increasing lately. What can you tell us about that?
Yes, there are many things pertaining to scams.
Yes.
We can start with things such as my life changer. You can talk about Bitcoin or Bitcoin,
Yes.
whatever you call it. And then you really have to imagine and say, a person calling you from United States of America, just worried to make sure that you have money in your pockets. Who is that person? Is it Jesus Christ, or why do we really believe in that?
True.
Sometimes we say, if something is too good to be true, ladies and gentlemen, we should really not believe that this is a true thing that is going to happen.
Definitely.
There is just no way that we wake up lucky, and then when you wake up, somebody is calling you from wherever, the person doesn't know you, but you are going to benefit from that.
Yes.
There is obviously a benefit to that individual that is calling you.
Exactly.
So those are some of the scams that we have. We have people that are being scammed after advertising their products on social media, Facebook in particular, and then people take the contact numbers, call them. Some even go to an extent of sending a person to come and check your products,
Yes.
verify if they're in good order, and then the person will give feedback to the other person on the other side, and then the person will send you a fake, bank
Wallet.
notifications, e-wallet, or what is this?
Blue wallet, easy wallet.
Easy
Yes.
wallet, those wallets. And then, without even physically withdrawing this money from the bank, you dispatch your products to the
Yes.
person. And then later on, when you go to the bank, there is nothing. The numbers you are in contact with are off. And sometimes these are people calling from, even the cells. We bring them cell phones behind closed doors. Not us as police officers, but you do that sometimes.
Yes.
And then people are doing that to
Scamming you from.
scam other
Yes.
people.
Yes.
There are people even calling the establishments, accommodation establishments, hotels and all that. They will call and say, no, I am, who was speaking German, fluent German, and say, I am in this transport tourism industry. I have tourists from Germany or from wherever. We are stuck in the...
That's an old scam, Inspector.
in the deserts. We want to make use of your establishment to
Yes.
accommodate them. But because of this, may you please send 2,000? Later on, may you send what? They will even give you the person to speak to
Yes.
to confirm that
Yes.
there is clients. And because we want clients, and maybe because of the economic situations, then we start buying these clients. We are saying that please verify.
Yes.
Please verify. We are concerned. These are resources that people are losing. There is a person who lost up to 30,000 after repairing or
Yes.
buying for 14,000 after buying a trailer that they have never seen. Every day you're being told send 2,000 so they can go and buy what to come and fix it. Send it to, and the person is just sending. The person also has lost a vehicle in Yusapos after a long conversation with the scammers. Later on, the person released the vehicle without even receiving any cent. But luckily, we have arrested this person and we have recovered the vehicle. We are saying there are resources that we are using to recover these vehicles.
Yes.
There are pain and situations that we are going through when you lose this vehicle, or even if you get it later. So for us to avoid this, let us be vigilant. Let us avoid engaging in things that we do not know. Let us avoid having discussions and develop trust with people we have never seen and that we do not know.
There we go. Now I must say thank you, Inspector. Thank you for briefing us today on suicides, armed robberies, and on the latest scams, what's happening. It's always a pleasure speaking to you.
Yes, but let us not forget about drugs.
Yes.
We are concerned especially last month, we have made significant stride in terms of arresting
Yes, definitely.
people in possession and dealing in drugs, particularly in the area of Swakopmund, Wapspai, Naraval. And this month we were actually busy. I have seen an increase in numbers of cases reported from Naraval in particular.
Mm-hmm.
In this case, there are fugitives, we call them,
Yes.
that travels from the camps that are involved in this drug deal.
Mm-hmm.
They recruit our young children, your children, the children of our communities,
Yes.
from our communities, 17, 18, 20, 25, up to 30 young people.
Mm-hmm.
You know, recruited in such a way that you have up to 5 people in a chain of communication
Yes.
to ensure that they deal in drugs.
Yes.
Some of them have gone to an extent of, renting a container to put in drugs.
Sure.
You know, as a place where you keep drugs, and then you have a person where you first go and contact the first phase.
Mm-hmm.
That person will refer you to the next person, that person will refer you to another one, and then that person will refer you to another one who is going to get drugs.
Yes.
At the end of the day, this one who get drugs will communicate with another one. You must go and give money to the other person. There is, collaborations. There is chain of events that
Yes.
are taking place. But what is surprising now, we have also learned that after using the young kids, they are now using small children, age 7 to 10. When you see a kid walking on the street with a backpack, that kid is going to deliver drugs somewhere. Whether the kid knows or not, we do not know.
Mm-hmm.
There are also some that are using bicycles, riding
Yes.
on bicycles to deliver drugs at night, particularly in Arab. When you see them riding bicycles, they are going to deliver drugs.
Yes.
Very, very sensitive and very senseless, conducts from the drug dealers there. But we are saying that those kids, we really have to make sure that we tell them we are going to arrest them. We do not make laws. We also do not, dictate whether a person is guilty or not guilty. We arrest, we bring evidence before court.
Yes.
The court determines whether the person is guilty of the conducts that the person is being accused
Yes.
of having been involved.
Mm-hmm.
We are saying our success obviously is attributed to public cooperation,
Yes.
assistance in giving us information. These crimes do not take place at the police station. They take place in public, in the communities. The community sees what is happening. The community are also rich in terms of this information. We encourage them to continue so that we can root out these drugs from our community. However, we have a concern is drugs is also stock theft. People are saying police officers are also involved. But the law says that everybody is equal before the law.
Yes.
It doesn't mean that if you suspect a police officer is involved, you surrender and say, I'm not going to report. You must report to that particular police officer that you're talking about.
Yes.
We have seen it on the different meetings. People are saying, no, but the police officers are collaborating with criminals. When we give them information, later on the people are coming to ask us. We are saying we have suggestion boxes at the police stations, especially Omaruru, Karibib, Yosakos. Use those suggestion boxes
Yes.
and report if you fear of victimization.
Yes.
And you must be able to report this information to a trusted police officer. Are you saying that even the station commander is corrupt in that particular area? If you don't trust the officer that you ought to trust, those are police officers, your police officers
Yes.
wearing the national flag. If you don't trust them, are you saying even the station commander you don't trust? If you don't trust the station commander, even the regional commander you don't trust. You just don't have anybody that you trust.
Yeah.
Be able to trust somebody and communicate that information. We have a division within our police, internal investigation. That is very, very important in terms of accountability. Internal investigation, that is working transparently and also efficiently and also, without any influence.
Yes.
Transparent and without any fear or favor.
Yes.
You will report if you are involved in criminal activities such as drugs, stock theft as we're talking about, report, they will be investigated.
Yes.
But we should not just assume people are corrupt.
Yes.
There are principles, legal principles that are guiding the processes of giving evidence before court. If you have read and understood the law of evidence and criminal procedures, for evidence to be admissible, for us to collect that particular evidence and be able to present it before court, and for it to qualify to be admissible evidence in court of law, there are certain requirements that it has to fulfill.
Yes.
So we are saying that we should be able to report with evidence of what we have seen, not just assumptions or hearsay evidence, and you come and say Shapumba is corrupt, but you do not have evidence to substantiate your claim. It's very important that we should really present evidence, go deeper, but it's very, very important that when you see something happening, whether it's done by a police officer, it's done by anybody in this community, we report it. Crime remains a crime.
Yes.
All matters shall be investigated freely and fairly.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Welcome in my office. My name is Muyenga Martin from Monarch Lifeguard. I have one safety tip here which I want to bring to the community. Let's avoid swimming while under influence of alcohol. Alcohol and water, it will never mix. Not even hangover is going to mix. Thank you.
And now it is time for the weather and tides predictions of Walvis Bay and all the major towns in the Erongo region. And that unfortunately brings us to the end of another episode of Erongo Talk. But before I say goodbye, be sure to catch that question because you just might be our lucky winner. So you can check out the stories we discussed earlier and so much more at our website. That's www.erongo.com.na. That's www.erongo.com.na. Or if you're feeling a little bit lazy, you can just type in erongo.com.na inside trick. So if you want to let us know what's happening in your community and in your town, you can let us know at 0811 7040. That's 0811 7040. This is also the number you're going to call to advertise with us in the Erongo, on our website, on our Facebook page, and in our upcoming Easter supplement. So if you miss us tomorrow, just before the show, you can check out We Talk by Windhoek Express, and you can check out the multitude of other programs hosted by Namibia Media Holdings. This includes Active Kids for the young ones, a multitude of youth shows, sports shows, evening review by the Namibian Sun, Kletskompas by Republic Kane. The possibilities are truly endless. So until tomorrow, stay safe, stay healthy, take care of yourselves, sanitize your hands, maintain social distancing, wear your masks when in distance of another person. Just take care.